So are you tired and stressed about debt and finances? Are you having a hard time seeing a way out? Or have you lost hope that things are ever going to get better for you? Well, that is exactly how kind of Mary was feeling when she started listening to the Debt Free Dad podcast. But check this out. In just the last 5 months, Mary has made some amazing progress, saving and paying off, guys, thousands of dollars. I'm not going to give that away because I want her to share that. But I invited Mary on today's episode early on in her journey to encourage you guys who haven't started yet, or maybe you're a little afraid to get started, to hopefully help motivate you guys that even when it feels like you'll never get out of debt, progress is still possible. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome everybody to today's show. As a reminder, I am Brad Nelson. If you have just been tuning in, I'm the founder of Debt Free Dad, and I paid off about $45,000 in debt. And I have been debt free now for more than 11 years outside of my mortgage. I've also been fortunate and blessed to help thousands of other people save and pay off tens of millions of dollars with the work that we do here at Debt Free Dad and through this podcast. Now, after listening to this episode, if you are encouraged and motivated to get started and take this a step further and you want to get better results with your finances in as little as 30 to 60 days, we got a free resource that we're going to be sharing up on the episode a little bit later that's going to help you get started with that. So as I mentioned, we've got Mary joining us here today on the podcast. Mary, welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're going to be joining us here today to share your journey.
Hi, Brad. Nice to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So can you share real quick, maybe just some background in your financial life and how you learned about money, maybe growing up or maybe even using money as an adult, and maybe some of the ups and downs of your experience and kind of what brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, I kind of had a pretty good childhood and had my parents were pretty solid with their money. I grew up in a pretty simple environment as far as money was concerned, and I loved it because mom always received a budget from my father every month. And so that pretty much dictated what we did. And, that loaf of bread and milk that we bought at the grocery store to a trip to the mountains to our cabin, or, we didn't live outside our means. So
Yeah.
was pretty structured as far as how we lived our lives. It was pretty simple. And so I was fortunate having kind of, I think, that growing up. Definitely. And I had to learn, or I learned pretty quickly to go get a job when
Yeah.
I wanted something.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I learned to like mow lawns, and then I think I
Yeah.
like got a house cleaning job for somebody. I'm not even that old. And then the newspaper route, which I think most people tried,
Sure.
that was a lot of work. I learned to get a job when I needed money, when I wanted to buy something or do something.
So as you
Yep.
became an adult and started managing your finances, did you have any ups and downs with that, or did you do pretty well, or was there a
I
certain point in your
transitioned.
life?
I think I transitioned pretty well when I finally got out on my own and got my first little car and had my auto insurance and then started with rent, and I was really good about paying all my bills on time. I even had a little, not quite a spreadsheet back in the day, but the little tablet with the little columns and everything, and so I made all my payments pretty much on time and did not have a credit card. So what money it came in is what money went out. So I never had any issues, like never really hit any bad spots either. So I was pretty good about doing side hustles and doing my regular jobs. And yeah, I stayed pretty consistent.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
obviously you started listening to the podcast. Where were you at that point in your life where you needed additional help, or maybe some things weren't going right? Like what was going on there?
So yeah, so I think, a lot of years later, a lot of life lived later, a lot of taking my debt and consolidating it over and over. This is much later in my life too. I wasn't paying off that card that I'd consolidate a couple, three credit cards onto a new interest-free card that would be good for a couple years, and I wouldn't pay it off. And if
Gotcha.
anything, I
Okay.
would have another credit card and I would use that. And I was actually to the point where I was like running out of money at the end of the month and then putting things on like gas and groceries on the credit card that you had just paid down. kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it was just like spending everything
Yeah.
on.
So when you were putting stuff on the credit cards, like what kinds of things were you starting to put on there that started to add up over time, do you think?
So yeah, I love the home shopping networks. I
Okay.
would
All
always
right.
find like sheets, look at those sheets and
Oh
look at
yeah.
that coffee maker and look at all those things. And I think I would spend a lot on like going to the big stores, Walmart and Marshalls, and buying things for family members. If somebody needed something, I just buy it. I just felt like, I can bring all this stuff. This is great. It really helps my family members out, and it's, they I just never ends. Like I always feel like I can help somebody out and, give money and pay for things, and yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
So,
So then you kind of happened across the podcast. Like how did you find us? Like
oh,
how did you get a
I
hold of
think
the
I think I typed in the word like, who knows, maybe, debt or budget or something, because I have Spotify and
Sure.
hadn't really used it that much. And so I just went to the search bar. And then I think dad was the key thing there, was
Yeah.
debt-free dad. Like, okay, this is a dad, so because our my life kind of revolves around kids and grandkids and
Sure, yeah.
everything. And
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
like, okay, here's a dad that's debt-free. So let's see. And then hearing your story was like huge.
Yeah. So as you
Yeah.
listen to the podcast, like what types of things resonated with you the most? And what did you start trying things that we were talking about? Because obviously you eventually joined us in Roots too, and we can talk about what kind of made that ultimate decision for you. But what about the podcast resonate with you, you think?
Well, you resonated with me, Katie, Chris, everybody resonated with me. I just
Yeah.
started to like binge listen, and I could just feel like little pieces of me and everybody's story, and like, oh my gosh, I can relate. I did that. Oh my gosh. I mean, look what, Brad went through and how he turned things around. And it's been super eye-opening.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew a lot of things in life, but boy, did I realize from listening to everybody's um, stories, just basic principles in life that I wasn't really awake to and wasn't really grasping
Yeah.
some pretty simple concepts that you've shared.
At the same time, it feels pretty good that you're not the only one who messed it all up, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's quite the relief. Thanks.
Right, right. Well, that's part
Appreciate
of the yeah, that's part of the reason why we try to be so transparent because it's
it
easy
is.
for us as individuals to put ourselves on that because money is such a taboo topic.
Yeah,
And a lot of us don't talk about our struggles, at least maybe not entirely or very open about it. And sometimes we can put ourselves on this island like we're the only ones who messed it up or made some poor decisions and we can beat ourselves up for that.
right.
And so I think
Absolutely.
having an outlet and having open and honest conversations and having a place where you can actually hear from real other people who've been there, done that, but also have
Mm-hmm.
turned it around, I think is so good. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that motivated you. But now, you listen to the show, but then you ultimately decided to join Roots. What was your deciding factor in that? Because that's kind of I mean, honestly, it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, it's not something you wake up one day and say, I'm going to invest in someone helping me manage my money. So
Yeah,
for you, like what made the difference, you think?
I think it was kind of my Christmas present to me because it was my old way of thinking. I mean, at first you're kind of like, oh, it's the how can I work out this payment and I'll do this, and everything.
Yeah.
And it was right around Christmas time, and I'm like, this is let's do this. Let's see what this is about. What if this works?
Yeah.
And I hadn't really tried anything else before, had never really come across that possibility. So for me, it was like, okay, Merry Christmas to me. I'm doing it. Boom.
I love that. That is such a cool gift to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And guys,
Yep.
listen to this because Mary is going to share some amazing progress she's made here in just
Oh
a little
gosh.
bit. And man, one of the best Christmas presents she's probably given herself.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
so you join, and so as you get started, obviously, if you guys don't know who are listening to this, we walk our members through these different modules through a period of time, and we have group coaching calls with our members, and we work with some of them one on one or through email and on our Facebook community, and so Mary, as you're going through this, especially early on, because you just joined Roots, just not even what it's been about 5-6 months now. Um, I think it was in October, right? Was it October?
I joined about December
December.
23rd-ish.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
really right around Christmas. Okay.
really, yes.
So when you first started Roots,
Mm-hmm.
And as we, as if you're listening to this and you're like, what is Roots? Well, basically we take
Mm-hmm.
people through a session and a membership program, and we walk them through step by step on how to transform their finances from front to back, start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Mary, you said you joined in I'm sorry, about mid to late December, right before Christmas.
Right.
So when
Mm-hmm.
when you joined and you started going through some of those first modules, and as you went through the core content that we give you and attended those live meetups, what do you feel, at least early on, because you're very early on in this stage, what do you think has been the biggest thing that you've done that's helped you get some really great results here in just the last 5 or 6
The
months?
biggest thing, definitely listening to the core content, definitely going through each module, taking notes, finding like, oh, I didn't, okay, take a note, try to, really working the program each module at a time. And if I had to re-listen, I re-listened. And starting the budgeting steps for the first time. Of course, printing out all of your, several 3 months, whatever worth of credit card statements and really starting to pull those apart.
Yeah.
And I work with spreadsheets. I love Excel. And so it's really able to start honing in on all of my debts, and including all of those annual debts that come once a year, your DMV registration, your Amazon Prime, subscriptions, and really starting to put that picture together of everything and starting to see all the excess spending, which of course everybody knows it's what food and entertainment and, coffee and
Yeah.
so a lot of that. And yep, just really laying it out there and uh, the behaviors, habits, and choices, that's huge.
Yeah.
That thinking about your choices and really following through with that decision to be conscious of everything that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Super conscious. Like I haven't slipped up at all, where I've, gone off on a tangent and spent $500 on something and like, oh no, nope, I haven't. I mean, I'm like, I'll put something in the cart, I'll watch it and maybe think I need something. And I just don't, I just
Yeah.
don't, I just don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy
That's
it.
yeah, that's fantastic. So you talked about behaviors, habits, and choices. In
Hmm.
Roots, what we hit on mostly, and what I think most people struggle with, including myself, is we are really bad at holding ourselves accountable. So in
Hmm.
Roots, we offer a lot of support and accountability. We do those weekly group coaching calls. We have our Facebook community. I mean, we are
Hmm.
constantly, pushing things as reminders of things that we need to do, things that we need to focus on. How has that helped you in these last 5 to 6 months and made a difference for you, you think?
Well, it's exactly why this program works. It's like the only reason well, everything in this program really resonates and works and sticks with me and keeps me going every day.
Yeah.
I weekends, I take the weekends off. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do my core 15. I don't do very much on weekends, but Monday through Friday, the regular work week, I'm on top of my stuff, really analyzing it. I will listen to the podcasts on weekends. If I have to take a trip, I'm like excited because then I can really binge listen. And if I have some books that have been recommended through Roots,
Yeah.
and so been listening to those. And so just making those extra steps, really treating this in a couple of senses that this is like a class for me.
Yeah.
And I've spent a lot of time going to the junior colleges. And so I actually literally took the semester off too and have just said, okay, I'm focusing on this. This is my job. This is my class. And this class is going to go on for a long time.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you've been committed to it too. I mean, that's such an important part. So can you share
Hmm.
real quick? Let's talk about some of your numbers. So again, you joined right before Christmas time. And as we're
Yeah.
recording this, it's a little over mid-May. So we're talking about 5 months.
Yeah.
What have you been able to pay off in debt? What have you been able to save since starting?
So I've been able to pay off in debt $7,214 here by the end of this month, which will be over in about a week, right? Um, and so that was pretty amazing. And I've saved so far $1,500 in my emergency fund. And I still have one more paycheck coming in this month, so that'll get bumped up even more. So yeah, that's
That's incredible. So you
Yeah.
saved and paid off nearly $9,000
Yeah.
since
Isn't that
joining
crazy?
here just 5 months. Would you, going back 5 months ago, would you have ever believed that you would have made that kind of progress in just 5 months?
Nope. Never. Never in a
It's pretty
million
crazy, isn't
years.
it?
It
I
really
know.
is. It
It's shocking.
is.
Sometimes, like, yeah, those numbers shock me. Like, even our members' numbers will shock me. But those are it is amazing when you combine all these elements that we have here. It's amazing what they can do and turning around things so quickly for so many people. Um,
Yeah, I have to say one thing that Brad, how did you just, I know that you jumped in one day too. You just went, oh my God, this is it. And you really started to study and learn. And I'm like, how did you do that? I mean,
yeah,
how did you turned it around too? And
yeah,
that's like,
and
I couldn't
it's
do it without you. So,
yeah, and I think well, and I appreciate that, and I think it's just that you get to a point in your life where it's just like, okay, enough is enough. And I think
mhm,
everyone has that moment, and until you have that moment and you're really ready,
mhm,
eh, there's nothing like being ready and just having enough. Like I need to change, and that's
yeah,
what it was for me. But
yep.
Mary, you're killing me. I mean, I paid off about $45,000 in only 4 or 5 years. That's a long time. You're already nearly at $10,000 in 5 months. I
Oh,
mean, you are knocking me out of the park.
well,
And
I don't
so
think so. I think have me back in about 2 or 3 years and we'll see. I'll be catching up to you.
yeah, yeah.
I
But I
still have a
mean,
little ways to go for sure.
that progress is absolutely incredible though in just 5 months. And
Yeah, it
so
is.
how do you so let's talk a little bit about emotion. When we
Oh,
look think about
yeah.
stress, number one
Hmm.
causes of stress in the United States right now. 73% of Americans say their number one stress factor is their money and their finances.
Absolutely.
How do you feel now today versus when you started just 5, 6 months ago?
Oh, gosh, I feel like that being burdened with the stress of not having a solution was very hard. And I would sometimes just ignore my debt, like just ignore it because it was so like painful
Yeah,
to think about. And I don't do that now.
I
Um,
love it's so
I'm
good.
still pretty new, but I know I don't have to go back. It's just, I'm just got moved over this bump, right? And I'm like, okay. And I love the vision board idea. And so I had something that I put in my vision board actually come true, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I think, putting that hope out there and putting it out in the universe is super helpful.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love and for those of you who are wondering, like, what's a vision board? So what we have our members do is, create short-term, long-term goals, financial goals, what they want their life to look like after they're out of debt, and put an actual visual thing on a board called a vision board and take
Hmm.
out pictures, words, whatever it does that reflects whatever it is that you're going towards, so you can focus just on that vision board while you're going
Right.
through this process. And that big wire purpose, that's huge. So Mary, do you mind sharing, like, what are some of the things on your vision board? Like what ideally, like, once you're out of debt and things that you like, what are you hoping to achieve and maybe level up in your life by doing this with your finances?
Well, so one of the things I put on my vision board was like palm trees and a blue ocean.
Yeah, there you go. I
And
love that.
so we actually did buy a trip. We're going to go to Mexico. We have like 2 years to use this trip. Getting a side hustle. I haven't found that gig yet. And
Yeah,
so one of my visions is to have a side hustle that works, that fits in well, that isn't stressful. And, so I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe leaving a family legacy is an
wow.
idea that's in my vision board,
Yeah,
which I think anything is possible. And that's what your program has given me is I always want to go backwards and say that's not possible. I can't do that. I'm older now. I'm gosh, I could, I'm getting close to retirement age, and I have to stop thinking that way. And so I have to be positive and anything is possible. So I'll
yeah.
have to keep looking forward to something that will possibly help myself and my family and something that might last. So fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, I love that. Leaving a legacy. It's such a good
Mm-hmm.
thing. Now I'm going to pick
Mm-hmm.
on what you said, your older comment. Can I just pick on that? I want to pick on
Oh
that
yeah,
for just a
absolutely.
second.
I like age is no big deal to me, but
So two questions I have. I have one,
yeah.
speaking to your own age group of, those, because it is easy. And I've talked to a lot of people who are in their, getting their older years, retirement years, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, it's too late for me. But then at the same time, so I would like for you just to share some insight, like, because you've gone through this over the last 5 or 6 months, you made some amazing progress. You
Mm-hmm.
just said like life is so much better now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to you just encourage those people that are in your same age group that are on the fence too. But I would also like you to talk to the younger generation who falls for the I got plenty of time. The ones that are just like, I don't have to do this right now. I can worry about that later. Right. So what would you say to these two
Oh.
groups?
Gosh, the older group, stay positive as the older group. Don't give up. Don't settle. Like try not to settle. Try to think outside the box. You know, utilize everything Brad and your brother and your group has to offer. Listen, 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 and don't think that you can't do better.
Yeah.
Um, and then the younger generation, wow, if you have access to Brad right now as a younger generation, just stay with Brad. Stay focused, stay with Brad. Your roots community
Yeah.
is huge. The different perspectives and the different ages and the different level. I mean, I stay create that savings plan, create that emergency fund mentality. Emergency fund. What was the other one that I haven't done? There's another
There's
fund
there's
type.
sinking funds. Yep. Where you're saving up for,
Sinking
yeah. Yep.
funds.
Yep.
Okay, that's the one I haven't even started yet. That's the one where you would save up for a car.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So yes, do. I was surprised to find like through just the comments in the Facebook group that like Ally Bank, I think offers, and it's an online internet based bank where they have like 30 buckets you could choose from to save, 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 save. Um, my local bank, I was excited to find out they give you like 6 savings buckets and you can
Yeah.
name them all you want. I didn't know that existed. If you're young and you're just starting out as a couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, or married, whatever, boy, get some buckets.
Yeah.
Get some buckets going, seriously. And put some money in them.
Yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
so good. Such great advice, Mary. And yes, if you're not familiar with Ally Bank, we're not affiliated with them. We don't make any money by referring them, but love their tools because there are a lot of the things that they offer at their bank is a lot of the things that we talk about here on Debt Free Debt a lot. So make sure you go check them out. So,
Yeah.
Mary, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and really sharing, especially like I said, I was telling Mary earlier on, it's, we try to get our earlier members on or people who are just getting started rather than always someone who's at the end, who's right about to reach debt freedom or has already reached debt freedom, because sometimes that can seem kind of out of reach. But for someone who's just getting started, Mary, 5 or 6 months, saving and paying off nearly $9,000. You have so much to be proud of. And I can't thank you more than enough to come on here and spend some time and encourage our listeners.
Well, thank you, Brad. Thank you very much.
Hey, so if you want to pay off more debt, save more money, and take control of your finances and start seeing some better results with your finances in as little as 30 to 60 days, head over to debtfreedebt.com, click on the green button at the top of the page, and we're going to show you how you can get started. So as always, guys, congratulations to all of you guys who are taking a stand for your financial life and are wanting better. Hey, we get that getting out of debt isn't easy, but with our help and hopefully with your consistency and discipline and hard work, we promise you guys, this is going to be some of the best work that you guys do in your entire life. Thanks for joining us on today's show, and we'll see you on next week's episode. Take care.